Ganggu.
Jumlahnya di mute.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi Pak Sep.
Pagi Pak.
Bu Tuti.
Ya Bapak.
Selamat pagi.
Apa kabar Bu Tuti? Apa kabar Bu Tuti?
Alhamdulillah sehat Bapak.
Ya, alhamdulillah. Siapa lagi nih belum kelihatan semuanya. Saya coba. Wih. Nah, ada Pak Dede, Pak Sarifudin.
Selamat pagi.
Nah, ada Bu Yani, ya selamat pagi. Pak Nyoman,
Pak Ses.
ya.
Ya, selamat pagi.
Pagi. Pak Dede, Pak Ibu Sarifah, ada siapa lagi Bu Heni?
Ya, ngisiin wallpapernya. Backgroundnya gimana wit?
Ya. Oke. Selamat datang. Semoga sehat selalu semuanya.
Alhamdulillah Pak. Selamat pagi Bapak.
Bagi Bapak Ibu peserta seminar online, terima kasih atas kehadirannya. Silakan yang lain, udah ada 79, semuanya 200 lebih. Kita masih nunggu. Oke, silakan. Halo, apa kabar? Pak Rukman, apa kabar Pak Rukman? Sehat-sehat saja?
Alhamdulillah sehat. Alhamdulillah sehat.
Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya Pak Rukman.
Iya, makasih.
Ya. Oke.
Ya, halo. Ya, selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi, Bapak dan Ibu.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi.
Sehat semua.
Sehat.
Alhamdulillah sehat.
Baik. Bapak dan Ibu. Kita menunggu kita.
Selamat pagi Kak Cia.
Dulu kali ya. Perkenalkan, nama saya Silvani Dianita. Saya Kasubag Kerjasama dari BPS dan Kemendagri. Kami bersama dengan tim dari bagian perundangan kepegawaian kerjasama. Di sini sudah hadir juga izin. Selamat pagi Pak Sekretaris BPS dan Kemendagri. Terima kasih Pak sudah hadir di atas Zoom kita.
Webinar.
Apa ya BPSDM Prima itu loh Bu?
Akan mulai jam 9
Ada di Ibu ikut ya?
Bapak Ibu. Tapi sebelum
2019 yang 2019 20.
Akan hadir di sini. Bapak dan Ibu, nanti Bapak dan Ibu akan dipandu oleh MC bernama Mbak Arimbi.
Iya, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu. Mohon izin pimpinan, mohon izin Bapak Ibu. Saya di sini selaku MC, jadi nanti ya, insya Allah saya akan memandu acara dari awal sampai nanti saya berikan kepada moderator Ibu Husnul. Mohon izin.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Arimbi. Ya, perkenalkan ini tim yang admin yang ada di sini ada Mas Daniel sebagai host kita. Boleh ada ditampilkan kameranya, Dek? Nah, ini panitia kami, namanya Daniel. Kemudian ada juga Pak Putra, silakan. Boleh diperkenalkan dulu. Wajahnya yang ganteng mana Pak Putra? Halo Pak Putra.
Okay, good morning. Good morning everyone.
Suara Pak.
Good morning juga Pak.
Bapak.
Baik, Bapak Ibu. Hari ini kegiatan kita akan ditayangkan
Selamat pagi.
Kanal YouTube BPSDM Kemendagri.
Ya, selamat pagi.
Mohon izin Bapak dan Ibu. Nanti jam 9 pagi bisa di-mute semua. eh, mic-nya supaya nanti tidak mengganggu aktivitas kita dalam kegiatan seminar. Kemudian Bapak dan Ibu mohon dapat membuka semua kameranya ya. Tolong open kamera semua supaya kita bisa lihat wajah cantik dan ganteng-gantengnya semua di sini. Dan kita bisa senyum dulu semuanya. Pagi-pagi kita harus latihan tersenyum dulu. Nah, kalau belum sarapan nanti kita kasih sarapan paginya Bapak dan Ibu, jangan khawatir. Tapi semua via virtual. Bisa dibuka YouTube-nya kalau mau minum kopi, boleh lihat kopinya di YouTube. Baik, tim Inlingua sudah hadir? Halo, tim Inlingua?
Mbak Fani,
Ya, Pak.
Pak Kaban dalam waktu yang sama, jam 9 nih, ada acara. Yang satu membuka acara dengan di Kaltara, dan buka acara kita juga. Nah ini coba apakah kita lebih awal atau kita kalau dari jam 9 Pak Kaban dengan Pak Gubernur ya kita mundur sedikit itu. Ya.
Bahasa Inggrisnya on time dong, Pak.
Ya, gimana on time? Ya, siap gitu. Terima kasih. Bu Fani coba koordinasi ini ya. Terima kasih Pak. Ini udah 112 orang ya. 10 menit lagi kalau kita bisa buka boleh saja nih sekarang.
Izin Pak, kita langsung saja Pak jam 9 langsung kita mulai. Jadi nanti kalau misalnya ada tim Inlingua yang belum hadir, kita bisa langsung aja Pak karena biar langsung mengefektifkan kegiatan Pak Kaban juga.
Assalamualaikum Pak Eko.
Waalaikumsalam.
Wah, dikunci Kang Eko.
Assalamualaikum Pak Izudin. Pak Izudin, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sehat, Be?
Sehat, sehat.
Alhamdulillah. Senang nih lihat muka Babi ini makin ganteng aja nih.
Waduh. Gimana kabarnya Sukabumi?
Apa? Be?
Halo?
Halo, Be? Halo, Be?
Be? Oh, Pak Jon Eka Puah.
Ya, siap.
Be.
Alhamdulillah sehat, Pak.
Sehat. Mana kabar?
Sehat, Be, sehat.
Sehat, Be. Sehat.
Barusan turun hujan nih. Adem. Adem nih Jambi nih habis turun hujan.
Wih, mantap, Bang.
Ini durian lagi banyak-banyak ini, Be. Gimana nih, Be?
Ya, kirim aja durian ke Jakarta.
Banyak juga, ya udah.
Banyak ini. Pak Jon.
Oke, lanjut, Be, lanjut.
Mantan
Lagi
Kasat
parah,
Pol
sehat.
Nah, tambah mantap aja Pak Jon. Udah kayak deputi atasnya kebudayaan Jambi aja nih.
Ditunggu, Be. Ini
Ya,
baru datang si Agung ke Jambi.
Ya, insyaallah. Ntar ya, setelah COVID berakhir.
Ya udah.
Mantap, Be. Lanjut, Be.
Lanjut, Be.
Ada suhu-suhu sini nih, ada Pak Sekban, Pak Kaban.
Ya. Siap.
Mantap, Pak Jon. Lanjut.
Siap.
Terima kasih, Pak Jon. Assalamualaikum Pak Gunawan. Dosennya Pak Gunawan kayaknya nih.
Kok tegang ya?
Halo. Pagi semua.
Pagi.
Bapak Ibu.
Pagi.
Bapak Ibu.
Good morning everybody.
Maaf, ini agak kita masih menunggu Bapak dan Ibu yang lainnya karena kan peserta kita di atas 200. Bapak dan Ibu yang lain untuk bisa join dulu semua. Sambil menunggu Bapak Ibu, kita sapa-sapa dulu boleh tahu kita kenal-kenalan dulu. Ada peserta yang dari Pulau Sumatera, dari Aceh ada? Ada
Dari Madura juga ada, Mbak.
Utara mungkin ada? Dari Madura.
Dari Jambi ada Mbak
Baik.
Silvana.
Siapa Pak?
Dari Jambi ada.
Oh, dari Jambi.
Terima kasih Mbak Sil.
Selamat.
Di Jawa Barat
Selamat
ada.
datang, Kak.
Di Jawa Barat ada.
Saya
Dunia
dari
Barat
Kalimantan
ada.
Tengah.
Halo Ibu
Jawa
dari
Barat
Kalimantan.
hadir.
Palembang ada Mbak Fani.
Wah, enak nih mana pempeknya nih.
Dari Batak hadir.
Dari
Ada
Pasar
dari
Minggu hadir.
Kalibata nggak?
Dari Pasar Minggu hadir.
Ya, main-main dong ke Taman Makam Pahlawan.
Dari Seruyan hadir.
Biar bisa makan durian di sini. Siapa yang dari daerah bisa ke Jakarta? Bapak Ibu, kita nih banyak banget loh seminar online-nya selama masa new normal saat kita terus mengembangkan pelatihan-pelatihan bersifat virtual. Jadi setelah acara ini kita masih banyak Bapak dan Ibu, jangan khawatir, Bapak dan Ibu masih tetap bisa mengikuti kegiatan-kegiatan kita. Kalau dari sekretariat nanti tanggal 5 Agustus kita ada kegiatan lagi, seminar online juga. Dari Ibu bisa standby. Saya mau kasih kenal dulu nih Bapak dan Ibu. Kita kan kerjasama juga dengan lembaga bahasa Inggris kita yang ikut berpartisipasi dalam penyelenggaraan hari ini. Boleh kita sapa dari tim Inlingua, ada dari tim Inlingua siapa? Mbak Husnul.
Halo, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
Ya, saya Husnul dari Inlingua. Nantinya saya akan bertugas sebagai moderator dalam seminar ini.
Terima kasih Mbak Husnul.
Yang
Ini dia
mana
moderator
tuh?
kita cantik ya.
Yang mana moderatornya?
Mbak Husnul coba bisa lagi.
Halo semuanya, here I am Husnul. Sudah kelihatan?
Belum.
Belum? Yang pakai kerudung coklat?
Udah Mbak Husnul, udah kelihatan.
Oke.
Izin Bapak Ibu, Pak Kabannya sudah siap. Kita minta tolong Bapak Ibu bisa di-mute dulu ya. Di-mute dulu ya. Tolong.
Bisa Mbak, bisa.
Mohon dapat di-mute dulu, tolong dapat dulu. Dan semua bisa open kamera. Tolong semua open kamera Bapak dan Ibu.
Masker dibuka nggak? Masker dibuka nggak?
Silakan dibuka dulu Bapak Ibu ya.
Kalau sendiri dibuka aja.
Ya.
Jangan batuk.
Loh, mbaknya close kamera. Gimana sih?
Foto yang tadi bagus Mbak, di mana itu?
Oke, Mbak Fani silakan kalau udah siap.
Bapak, mohon izin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Yang terhormat Kepala Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri, yang kami hormati Sekretaris Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri, yang kami hormati Kepala Bagian Perundang-undangan, Kepegawaian dan Kerjasama, yang kami hormati pejabat struktural dan fungsional di lingkungan Kementerian Dalam Negeri dan pemerintah daerah, yang kami hormati narasumber Mr. Abel F. Wansing, yang kami hormati pula seluruh peserta webinar dan hadirin yang berbahagia. Acara pembukaan webinar dengan tema Using Technology to Improve for English Skills yang diselenggarakan Bagian Perundang-undangan Kepegawaian dan Kerjasama Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri, Rabu 5 Agustus 2020, dimulai. Menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya. Hadirin dimohon duduk siap. Siapa yang ikut?
Gimana sih udah latihan kok masih begini aja?
Hadirin disilakan istirahat kembali. Laporan Ketua Panitia Penyelenggara yang disampaikan oleh Sekretaris Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri kepada yang terhormat Bapak Dr. Andes Dinin Wahidin MSI, disilahkan.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Yang terhormat Bapak Kepala Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri, izinkan dalam hal ini saya Bapak Dr. Teguh Setiabudi MPD, yang terhormat Mr. Abel F. Wansing selaku narasumber dari Illingua, para peserta webinar atau seminar online yang berasal dari pejabat struktural, pejabat fungsional, dan ASN di lingkungan BPSDM Kemendagri, PPSDM Kemendagri Regional, Satuan Kerja Kementerian Dalam Negeri, dan Sekretariat Daerah Provinsi, Kabupaten, dan Kota seluruh Indonesia, serta para panitia dan moderator yang kami banggakan. Pertama-tama marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala karena atas rahmat dan hidayahnya. Alhamdulillah pada pagi hari ini kita bisa melaksanakan seminar online bahasa Inggris dengan tema Using Technology to Improve for English Skill. Bapak Kepala Badan dan hadirin yang berbahagia, izinkan saya menyampaikan beberapa laporan sebagai berikut. Dasar penyelenggaraan sudah biasa kita ketahui Undang-Undang Nomor 5 Tahun 2014 tentang ASN, Aparatur Sipil Negara, Undang-Undang Nomor 23 Tahun 2014 tentang Pemerintahan Daerah, Peraturan Pemerintah Nomor 11 Tahun 2017 tentang Manajemen PNS, dan Peraturan Pemerintah Nomor 12 Tahun 2017 tentang Pembinaan Pengawasan Penyelenggaraan Pemerintahan Daerah, serta beberapa peraturan lainnya yang terkait dengan pendidikan dan pelatihan yang tidak bisa disebutkan satu persatu. Bapak Kepala Badan dan hadirin yang berbahagia, adapun tujuan kegiatan penyelenggaraan seminar online ini adalah pertama bisa memberikan informasi yang sangat bermanfaat dan relevan untuk para peserta guna memadukan teknologi pembelajaran yang dipadukan dengan kemampuan kita dalam mempelajari dan penguasaan bahasa Inggris melalui 4 aspek pembelajaran, baik listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Dan yang kedua, bisa memberikan kesempatan kepada para peserta untuk mencoba berbagai penggunaan aplikasi, laman web, dan software yang nanti tersedia dalam workshop selama berlangsung atau dalam seminar online ini berlangsung, guna menjadikan keterampilan dan sangat bermanfaat untuk para peserta dalam mengakses sumber media daring dan meningkatkan literasi digital. Selanjutnya diharapkan bisa memberikan pengetahuan mengenai berbagai jenis teknologi, minat belajar, dan motivasi yang tinggi untuk para peserta sehingga bisa mandiri dalam melakukan proses pembelajaran melalui pemanfaatan keterampilan berbahasa Inggris ini. Dan terakhir, tujuannya adalah bisa menggunakan teknik yang tepat untuk mendapatkan konten daring yang relevan dengan tujuan pembelajaran bahasa Inggris ini. Bapak Kepala Badan yang kami hormati, peserta yang sudah mendaftar pada kami ada 206, yang tercatat di sini sekitar 130. Namun kegiatan ini tidak berarti dalam langsung sini aja, namun melalui streaming YouTube dan Instagram BPSDM secara langsung dibuka juga. Jadi ada yang melalui YouTube dan ada yang Instagram. Jadi yang daftar secara resmi sudah mencapai 206 orang. Adapun waktu penyelenggaranya ya tanggal 5 Agustus ini dengan menggunakan sebagaimana tadi disampaikan telekonferensi, live streaming YouTube dan seterusnya. Kemudian anggaran ini alhamdulillah bersifat gratis baik untuk peserta termasuk narasumber. Jadi semua peserta dan narasumber tidak dibebani dengan biaya apapun juga. Selanjutnya metodologi pelatihan dengan menggunakan ceramah yang dikomunikasikan dengan tanya jawab dan diskusi. Yang selanjutnya ada sharing atau sharing pengalaman dari fasilitator dan para peserta sehingga akan terbentuk suatu curah pendapat dan simulasi. Bapak Kepala Badan yang kami hormati, demikian beberapa laporan yang bisa kami sampaikan. Untuk itu mohon kiranya Bapak Kepala Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri bisa menyampaikan sambutan sekaligus memberikan pengarahan dan membuka secara resmi seminar online bahasa Inggris dengan tema Using Technology to Improve for English Skill ini. Demikian, wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Kurang lebih mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sambutan Kepala Badan Pengembangan Sumber Daya Manusia Kementerian Dalam Negeri sekaligus membuka webinar pada pagi hari ini. Kepada yang terhormat Bapak Dr. Andes Tegus Budi MPD, disilahkan.
Terima kasih, MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan, semangat, sehat, sukses untuk Bapak dan Ibu. Yang pertama yang saya hormati Pak Sekretaris Badan, Pak Haji Dini. Demikian juga yang saya hormati narasumber pada acara seminar online ini. Terima kasih atas kesediaannya. Saya hormati jajaran panitia penyelenggara, Pak Kabak, Pak Eko, Mbak Fani, dan seluruh jajaran. Yang saya banggakan, yang saya hormati, Bapak-bapak, Ibu-ibu, saudara-saudara, para peserta seminar online bahasa Inggris yang kali ini mengambil tema Using Technology to Improve for English Skills. Pertama-tama, marilah kita sama-sama persembahkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala karena hanya atas rahmat hidayahnya pula, alhamdulillah pada pagi hari ini, Rabu 5 Agustus 2020, kita sama-sama bisa hadir dan mengikuti acara seminar online. Alhamdulillah, insya Allah dalam keadaan sehat walafiat.
Amin.
Karena sehat dan selamat pada masa pandemik seperti sekarang ini adalah hal yang sangat-sangat utama. Dan yang pertama juga yang harus kita perhatikan. Bapak dan Ibu yang hormati, kita sudah memasuki era tatanan normal baru. Tapi bukan berarti bahwasannya pandemik COVID-19 itu sudah berakhir. Kita masih sedang dalam tahap masih pandemik. Bahkan belum sampai kepada kurva turun. Pandemik COVID-19 ini sungguh sangat memprihatinkan kita semuanya. Ini pandemik global. Paling tidak 215 negara di dunia terkena pandemik ini. 34 provinsi di Indonesia. Hampir seluruh kota di Indonesia juga terkena. Seluruh sektor kehidupan, baik itu sektor pariwisata, transportasi, perdagangan, perindustrian, pendidikan, dan sektor-sektor lainnya juga kena. Demikian juga kita semuanya. Semua elemen, baik aparatur, swasta, masyarakat, akademisi, semuanya kena. Kita semuanya kena. Pengaruhnya luar biasa, bukan hanya masalah ekonomi, tapi juga dalam hal yang lainnya. Termasuk juga adalah dalam hal pengembangan kompetensi aparatur sipil negara. Dalam hal peningkatan kapasitas SDM ASN. Pengaruhnya juga luar biasa. Namun demikian, Bapak dan Ibu hormati, pada saat musibah seperti ini, kita juga harus mampu mengambil hikmah. Hikmahnya antara lain adalah pasalnya terkait dengan pemanfaatan, penerapan IT, ini juga mengalami lonjakan, lompatan yang sangat besar. dari kalangan pelajar, dari bahkan SD, SMP, SMA, perguruan tinggi, kita semuanya bahkan ASN, baik laki maupun perempuan, baik bapak-bapak maupun ibu-ibu, muda atau tua, ini semuanya sekarang dituntut atau dipaksa untuk melek teknologi. Banyak emak-emak yang tadinya mungkin juga begitu nggak paham, bapak-bapak semuanya. Sekarang mereka pun sudah paling tidak memahami, menerapkan beberapa IT. Sudah kenal Zoom, sudah kenal Google Meeting, Google Classroom, dan sebagainya. Ini luar biasa terkait IT. Ini antara lain yang perlu kita ambil hikmahnya. Bahwasanya pada saat pandemi COVID-19, ada lompatan yang besar terkait bagaimana kita melek terhadap IT, bagaimana kita familiar, bagaimana kita welcome terhadap IT. Oleh karena itulah, beberapa hari yang lalu Bapak Presiden Joko Widodo juga menekankan bahwasanya masa pandemik COVID-19 ini harus kita juga ambil hikmahnya, maknanya untuk percepatan transformasi digital. Kami di BPSDM juga mengalami perubahan yang juga signifikan. Sebelum pandemi COVID-19, 95% kegiatan BPSDM dalam hal pengembangan kompetensi aparatur sipil negara itu adalah baik tatap muka klasikal. Pada masa pandemi, pertengahan Maret sampai dengan hari ini, Agustus awal, minggu pertama, kita online 100%. Distance learning, e-learning. Ini luar biasa. Semuanya kita mau rapat-rapat lah, mau diklat-diklat, bimbingan, workshop, seminar, tiap hari. Di saat pandemik, di saat pegawai pada WFH, pelayan publik harus jalan, pengembangan kompetensi ASN harus jalan, kita gunakan teknologi. Alhamdulillah, ya bisa. Tapi menuju tatanan normal, menuju tatanan masyarakat yang harus produktif dan aman dari COVID-19, kita sekarang mulai minggu kedua sudah mulai menerapkan blended learning, gabungan antara konvensional sama online. Ada juga kemudian kelas yang klasikal tatap muka, tapi dengan penerapan protokol kesehatan COVID-19 yang ketat. Sudah mulai. Ini yang kita lakukan terkait dengan perubahan-perubahan masalah IT. Kami sekarang di BPSDM, saya yakin juga di tempat lain, juga sedang berbenah bagaimana kantor kita ini sekarang juga mengedepankan terkait pembenahan infrastruktur internet. Karena sekarang sudah eranya Internet of Things, Big Data, Artificial Intelligence, Cloud, sebagainya. Kita lakukan itu. Ini sudah sangat masif. Berbagai media kita gunakan. Lah, kaitannya dengan ini, Bapak dan Ibu, seminar online bahasa Inggris, ini saya mengapresiasi, terima kasih Pak Sekbal, terima kasih kepada jajaran panitia, dan terima kasih kepada pihak yang kerjasama, Inlingua, yang menginisiasi kegiatan seminar bahasa Inggris dengan tema yang sudah tadi saya sebutkan tadi. Karena penting sekali untuk ke depan, baik di dalam revolusi industri 4.0, di dalam tatanan new normal, dalam penerapan IT yang sangat besar, kita tidak cukup hanya pintar wawasan saja. Kita harus melek IT. Untuk bisa melek IT secara masif, kemampuan berbahasa Inggris juga sangat penting. Untuk bagaimana memajukan bangsa negara kita, kemampuan bahasa Inggris kita juga sangat penting. Apalagi kita sebagai aparatur sipil negara. Banyak cara, banyak jalan menuju Roma. Demikian juga kita belajar bahasa Inggris, banyak yang bisa kita lakukan. Pada kesempatan ini, saya mengapresiasi, terima kasih panitia dan Inlingua akan memperkenalkan bagaimana menggunakan teknologi untuk memperbaiki kemampuan kita dalam berbahasa Inggris. Khususnya yang tadi sudah disebutkan oleh Pak Sekban. Dalam hal kita bicara, speaking, dalam hal kita mendengar, listening, dalam hal kita membaca, maupun dalam hal kita menulis. Banyak itu. Apalagi pada saat pandemi COVID-19 ini. Yang dimana tatap muka secara klasikal itu dikurangin. Oleh karena itu penggunaan teknologi sungguh sangat penting. Agar kita tidak salah menggunakan, agar kita tidak salah dalam artian memahami, maka seminar kali ini akan membahas tentang bagaimana menggunakan teknologi untuk memperbaiki bahasa Inggris kita. Jadi terima kasih ini. Banyak ini sih. Nanti biarlah dari pihak narasumber ini yang akan menyampaikan. Yang saya harapkan seminar ini tidak hanya seminar saja, tapi nanti betul-betul ada aktualisasinya, ada follow up-nya, tindak lanjutnya. Karena bahasa Inggris itu tidak bisa hanya dipelajari 1 jam, 2 jam. Bahasa Inggris adalah bagaimana kebiasaan kita, day to day-nya. Semakin banyak melakukan speaking atau melakukan berbagai hal dengan bahasa Inggris, kita akan semakin cepat untuk belajarnya. Kami persilakan nanti kepada pihak Inlingua dan narasumber, silahkan menyampaikan kira-kira yang terbaik seperti apa. Kemudian juga perlu mungkin nantinya ada kelas-kelas kecil yang ditindaklanjuti, sehingga kita betul-betul bisa berkomunikasi dengan bahasa Inggris secara baik, sebaik-baiknya. Baik dalam untuk tataran perkantoran, akademis, lebih khusus lagi adalah dalam hal pergaulan. Ini penting. Nah, menggunakan teknologi juga akan sangat bagus, karena kita tidak akan malu-malu. Kadang-kadang kita pakai bahasa Inggris itu karena malu. Waduh, bahasa Inggris saya masih belepotan, sehingga untuk bicara nggak enak. Tapi dengan teknologi mungkin mudah-mudahan enggak. Sekarang pulsa murah, pakai WA bisa dan sebagainya. Jadi sangat terbuka untuk terus mengimprove bahasa Inggris kita. Mungkin beberapa tersebut yang perlu saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi terima kasih Pak Sekban, panitia dan Inlingua. Silakan nanti di follow up, mudah-mudahan bermanfaat bagi kita semuanya. Bapak dan Ibu para peserta, tidak cukup hanya webinar ini aja. Nanti terus diimprove dengan cara-cara yang lain yang akan dibahas pada saat seminar ini. Mudah-mudahan saya juga nanti bisa ikut secara pribadi, karena saya juga menyadari kemampuan bahasa Inggris saya ini juga sangat lemah, perlu ditingkatkan sama dengan Bapak Ibu semuanya. Demikian, saya tidak akan berpanjang lebar. Akhirnya dengan memohon ridho kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala Tuhan Kuasa, dengan mengucapkan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, maka seminar online bahasa Inggris dengan topik Using Technology to Improve for English Skill, ada 4 kemampuan tadi. Pada hari ini Rabu 5 Agustus 2020, secara resmi saya nyatakan dibuka. Selamat berwebinar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om. Namo Buddhaya. Sehat, semangat, sukses selalu untuk Bapak dan Ibu semuanya. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bapak Kepala Badan.
Oke, makasih.
Mohon izin pimpinan, mohon izin Bapak Ibu peserta webinar. Sebelum memulai acara inti dari webinar ini, ada sedikit penyampaian sekaligus ingin menyapa Bapak Ibu sekalian dari Direktur PT Inlingua Internasional Indonesia. Kepada Ibu Mauren Aquinaldi, disilahkan.
Good morning from Jakarta. Thank you, Pak Teguh, for a very inspiring speech, I guess. Yeah, it's a very good motivation for all of us here. Thank you for the opportunity to conduct this webinar. Thank you to Pak Didin and also Ibu Silviani for the trust for Inlingua. Yeah, and special thanks to all participants from all over Indonesia. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for joining. And I think you will be enjoy during the webinar. And I believe you will get a new insight to improve your English skills. So let's keep growing and never stop learning for this nation. Enjoy.
Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Miss Maureen.
Thank you, Mbak.
Hadirin yang berbahagia, demikianlah acara pembukaan webinar dengan tema Using Technology to Improve for English Skills. Selanjutnya webinar akan dipandu oleh moderator kepada Ibu Husnul Yuliah Tuti, MPD. Disilakan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Rimbi, for the
You're
opportunity.
welcome.
Okay, so good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
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 Okay, so hopefully you
Morning,
are
Mbak
in a good
Husnul.
condition today, yeah. So first of all, we would like to say thank you very much for BPSDM Kemendagri for your participation in the seminar titled Using Technology to Improve for English Skills. We proudly say that the seminar is one of Inlingua Indonesia contribution activities for the nations. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. My name is Kusnul, and I will be the moderator for today's seminar. And I will help the speaker who deliver the materials to the participants, and I will do the summary also for the participants after our speaker, Abel Wansing, deliver the materials to you. Bapak dan Ibu yang terhormat, sebelum kita memulai ke acara utama, saya akan memperkenalkan Inlingua Indonesia. Inlingua merupakan institusi internasional yang telah berpengalaman lebih dari 52 tahun di bidangnya, yaitu memberikan pelatihan bahasa asing seperti bahasa Jepang, Mandarin, Belanda, Spanyol, bahasa Indonesia, dan yang pastinya yang sangat terkenal adalah untuk bahasa Inggris. Lebih dari 350 centers di seluruh dunia, salah satunya kami, Inlingua Indonesia, adalah pemegang master franchise yang telah melayani klien lebih dari 23 tahun. Baik dari pemerintah, institusi, kementerian, swasta, maupun yang lainnya. Adapun klien Inlingua antara saat ini adalah Kemendagri, Ristek, Angkasa Pura, BP, Chevron, dan lain sebagainya. Selain itu, Inlingua merupakan institusi pendidikan bahasa yang berpengalaman yang memulai menggunakan teknologi dalam proses pengajaran bahasa sejak 3 tahun lalu dengan memiliki learning management system sendiri. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about Inlingua, you can visit www.inlingua.com or you can join the program consultations after this seminar at 1 p.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the most wanted and waiting for moment. To starting the presentation, let me introduce our speaker today. His name is Abel Wansing, and then Abel with more than 6-year experience teaching online for students all over the world. And he is also our independent training for teaching technique for online class. So Abel is really expertise to use technology in learning for English skill. So please welcome Abel. Hi, Abel. Are you ready there?
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, hi, Abel. How are you today? Good?
Doing very well. Quite early over here where I am, but...
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Good morning, Abel. Mr. Abel.
Okay. So, Abel, the participants are waiting for your presentations. So,
Fantastic.
Here we go. The floor is yours.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Can I share my screen at this moment?
Of course.
Yeah. Let's see how that works. There we go. So that's the world. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, I hope everyone can see a blue start of the presentation. Good morning to you all.
Morning.
Okay, hope everybody is doing well.
Morning.
Yes.
Morning, Abel.
Okay, so I've been asked to talk to you about using technology to help you learn or improve your English skills. Let's get going. Here we go. That's the topic of our presentation today, using technology to improve English skills. Now, let's see. We have a couple of things that we try to achieve today. We try to improve our knowledge of technology as it relates to learning English and studying languages in general. So we need to have as outcomes the ability to reflect on our own abilities in terms of language and knowledge. We need to know about appropriate techniques when we study a language, and we need to be critical. By this, we mean that when we choose materials, tools, and in fact, teachers as well, we need to be critical. Don't just accept whatever is in front of you. We also are going to be exploring a variety of computer applications, not just computer, but also handheld device applications and such. We will be exploring a little bit, so looking at what we can use and how we can use it. And then we're going to look at adapting as well. So how do we use these things and integrate them into the methods and techniques that we already know? In the end, it's all about taking responsibility. When we try to achieve something such as learning a language, we have to make sure that we know what we're doing and that we also are more or less responsible for the results that we get out of it. So that's where we're going with this presentation. Let me start a little bit, talking a little bit about the importance of English. It was touched upon in the introduction, I believe. How important is English for us? Who here feels that English is an important skill to have? Maybe you could raise your hand or just nod or something. Anybody? Who thinks English is important? No one? There we go. I see a thumbs up. Fantastic. Okay. Well, hopefully more or less all of you feel this way. Yeah. So English, of course, is the international language. We use it to communicate with people all over the world. Kind of like this situation we have right now. So we're going to be talking about 4 particular skills in English. It's been touched upon before, and we will talk about it again. Now, when it comes to technology, however, what is it? What is education technology in particular? Well, as the name suggests, it is technology that we use in the process of education. So it's not that complicated when you think about it. Is it anything special, and why is it important to us? Well, it is of course important because it can help us. Technology, like many other things, are tools. We have learning materials such as books that we're used to, but these days we also have technology. How many of you already use a lot of technology? Let's say on a daily basis. Does any of you use technology every day? I'm talking about computers, smartphones perhaps, tablets, things like that. Who among you owns one of these things and uses it? Yeah, can I see some hands or some thumbs? Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, that's where we were. Yeah, I hope all of you do. I don't see many hands right now. Who here owns a smartphone? Maybe it's a little early for this. Okay, it is here anyway. Yeah. Okay, so most of us do own technology in one form or another, and we're going to talk about how we can make that technology work for us when we are going to study English in particular. So let's have a look at a short history perhaps, or at least our position in the world of development. So this is a slightly complicated slide, and it's okay if you don't understand every part of it. But in general, I hope you can see that we're dealing with a development. Not too long ago, we had no more than computers in institutions such as schools, courses, and I imagine at your job you have computers as well. But they weren't very connected in the past, so that limited the function and what we could do with them. These days, in the middle there, the present, we are somewhat more connected. We have more types of devices, many of which we can bring with us, making it a lot easier to access. Yes, we also are connected these days through internet, such as the situation we find ourselves in right now. In the future, we can only guess that that integration is going to increase. The way technology moves through our history suggests that in the future we will be even more connected. In this case, I'm thinking of a lot of use of the cloud, faster connectivity. There's a lot of talk about 5G networks around the world. So the likelihood is that this will improve our connectivity and our access to different types of materials. Yeah. So that's a short overview, more or less. Now let's look a little more closely at the benefits of all of this great technology. First of all, we are looking at a simplification. The technology simplifies our access to resources. Of course, this goes for all types of resources, but it includes educational resources, meaning that we have access to learning materials and practice environments, if you like. In the second place, we can easily see how this connectivity and this modern technology helps us with the improvement of our learning experience. Simply said, do we enjoy learning? I personally always emphasize this. I think enjoying your learning process and your education really benefits your results, your progress. You will get better results if you like what you're doing. It's that simple. Now, how does technology come into this? Well, there's a lot of entertainment, for instance. Videos are a very good example. Most of us these days use a lot of video applications and access to videos online. We do this for fun, we do this for entertainment, and we can also use this to study and improve our knowledge in a way that is enjoyable. It is quite easy, I think, to picture that learning something with multimedia is more interesting than just having a textbook. So yes, it will improve the learning experience. It will be more fun, it will be more entertaining, and it will also be more convenient. Yeah? Which leads us to the third point, which is to learn at your own pace. Having a lot of access in your pocket, basically, your mobile device or in your home, in your office, wherever you are at the moment. Having that access means that you can plan your own study time, you can plan your own materials and use things the way you want to. So this improves your own ability to plan things and study into your own schedule, which I assume is a quite busy schedule for most of you. Yeah, we're all busy people. So plan comfortably should be a great benefit. So these are a few things that technology can help us with. Some background noise there. There it stops. Good, thanks. The integration of English learning with technology. This is where we are going with this. Yeah. So how exactly do we mix these things, the learning of English and the access to technology that we have in the modern time? We are looking here in particular at 4 skills, the first of which is listening. Listening, of course, a very important part of any language. If you want to have a conversation and communicate with people, it is important that you can hear them and understand what they are saying. Let's see this. Another important skill. Another important skill is reading. Now, reading, again, should not be a big mystery to people, yeah? So when we talk about reading, of course, we're talking about reading in English. There's no doubt that everyone has seen English texts. Perhaps you have had to deal with English texts and maybe you have had some difficulty with them. So improving your reading skills is kind of a big deal. It's a big part of the language, the written form of it. Yeah. Another skill, writing. Now here, of course, we are producing written language, which I do not know if this is a big deal for each of you, but perhaps you write memos, emails, and other communications in English, in which case writing will be a large part of your activities. Yeah? So writing properly in English can be a very big part of your connection to the language. Yeah? Okay, let's look at the last one, which is speaking. Now, speaking, of course, oh, I'm sorry about that. Let's see if I can go back. Okay. Speaking, of course, is connected to listening as well. This is when we talk to each other, formulating the language quickly. For many people, I don't know if this is true for all of you or for many of you, but many people that I have met in my job do have most of their problems with speaking. So for many people, speaking is a big challenge, more so than some of the other skills that we're talking about. So for yourself, think about that for a minute. Which of these skills are skills that you would probably like to improve? Maybe all of them, maybe some of them, maybe one of them in particular poses a challenge to you and you feel like, I would like to improve that any way I can. Yeah? So I'm pretty sure that at least some of you will come up with an answer to that. So looking at the first skill that we're talking about, listening, and the technology, some of the technology that is available. I want you to realize that here I am only giving a few examples. Yeah? This is not a conclusive list, so I'm only giving a few examples of modern technology that is available right now for your improvement. Yeah? So we're going to look at listening first. We have a couple of examples here. The first one here, I think, is the most interesting, and we're going to really quickly have a look at this. I do not want to go into each of these in a very long way because our time is limited, and also I think it will be interesting for all of you to look at this in your own time. And again, these are only examples. Now, how many of you enjoy music? You can put up a hand or an icon or an emoji if you like music.
Yeah.
Yes, great, good. Thanks for the reply.
I like music very much.
Fantastic, that's what we like to hear, yeah? I think many people do, right? Now here is a very nice application website. There's a couple of ways to deal with this. Let's open it up. Here you go. It's called Lyrics Training. As you can see here, I hope I've opened it up in my browser here. You can see this is an application for your mobile device. You can get it on Google Play and you can get it on Mac. So if you have an iPhone, you could also grab it. Here and now we are going to go to the web version, and I'm going to very quickly show you sort of what it does. Yeah. I hope it works properly. It tends to work fine, but sometimes you need a little bit of time to play with this. If it doesn't, I will move on. So as you can see here, hopefully we have some examples on the main page of music with video with it. You can do searches as well. So as you can see here, you can search for any artist that might be available. To be fair, when I'm looking at this, I don't think I know a lot of these artists myself. Okay. Let's just do an example. I'm just going to click something at random. You can see it's in the form of a game, which hopefully makes it more interesting and more fun to you. I'll just click beginner and I'm going to press to start game. Free account. We're not going to do the account right now, but you can do that in your own time. I found that it works slightly better in the app version for your phone. And of course, if you do have an account, it tends to work a little more smoothly. So don't worry about this thing perhaps not working perfectly. Short demonstration. We have a video here with the music. Yeah. Here's, it loads and it plays. And perhaps you can see, I'm going to pause it. There is going to be, if you can see my cursor, the lyrics to the song at the bottom there. Now, what we're going to do, how this is going to work is, oh, I'm afraid I need to, all sorts of pop-ups. I'm going to do a new share computer sound. That might help a little bit. Here we go.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in.
Okay, so just to demonstrate, yeah, we're not going to listen to the whole song, but as you can hopefully see, we have the song lyrics at the bottom there, and there are gaps in it. Yeah? So
I like the song.
Sorry?
I like the song.
Okay, great. That's good news. Maybe you already know the lyrics. If you do not, then this is more of a challenge, of course. The idea is that you listen to the song and write the words that are missing. So that will work something like this. And if it's correct, it will move along. And if it's not, it will get stuck and you can repeat it. Yeah. So that's just a quick demonstration. Yeah, it's nice to see how perfectly you know the lyrics, and of course it's meant as a listening exercise. So it's also a very good idea to try out some songs that perhaps you don't know that well. that will test your listening skills a little more. So yes, it's in the form of a game. There are levels to it, from beginner to more advanced. So hopefully this can last for a while, and you can enjoy yourself quite a bit as you play this game. So I would recommend this as a nice game for yourself. You can probably see that, yeah, you can do one song or you can do 10 songs at a time. You can do it on your phone, of course, so with ear buds in, you can have privacy as well. So this is yeah, I think a very fun way to practice your listening a little bit. Material is not, I think. Here is another website. This is more of a website than an application. It's also slightly more serious. Yeah. So the first one is a nice game. Oh, where's my cursor? The second one here, ESL Lab. Let me open it quickly. Let's see what's going on here. Internet trouble. Okay, I do need to speed along. And for some reason, this is not loading very well. Okay, but it is. Here we go. So I should close this. That helps. Oh, yeah. So many pop-ups. So many pop-ups. Okay, it is loading quite slowly here, which is not according to plan, I'm afraid. Let's see if this other one loads a little more quickly. Yeah, we have a problem. All right, this works a little better. Here we have another one. This is the last of the three. The second one is at the moment a little slow, I'm afraid. This third one is quite interesting as well. The second one, check it out in your own time if you like. But again, these are just examples of things that are out there. This one is, I think, very good as well. It deals with native people, native English speakers, speaking English in a way that is not too fast. Yeah, so that's quite helpful. Also, the talkers, the speakers, have subtitles, as you can hopefully see. It's in a YouTube format, so we're quite used to that, I think. Let's see if we can do it like this. Short example.
Science report. American and European scientists have new equipment to watch the world's oceans. Okay. The Jason 3 satellite launched in January. It is designed to record rising sea levels.
Okay, so just a short sample there. As you can see here that there are a lot of clips to choose from, and this goes on for a page after page. So this is a nice resource as well. The good thing here is that it's slightly slower than conventional speech. So hopefully it's more useful for perhaps a little more people who are more at a beginner level. What is really good, I think, is that it has those subtitles. So you can read along and listen. So you can actually have native speakers' pronunciation of words in context. Yeah, so it's not random words, it's not lists of words, but it actually tells a story, which is how language usually works. Yeah, it's more realistic than textbooks are in many cases. Yeah? So these are just some examples of quite new advances in materials and technologies that are available to everyone. Moving on to another skill, which is reading, the second one. Reading, I personally think reading is one of the most important ways of improving your English because it provides so much language, much more than other media do. Watching movies is great, listening to music is great, but the language is limited. When you're reading, and I mean seriously reading books, you are interacting with the language on a much higher level. So here we have one example, and again, it's just an example of a website that provides books for you free. Let's go there really quickly. I want to show you one particular aspect of this particular website that makes it slightly better than other sources. So there are quite a few books here, thank you, that you can see. Goes on and on and on, if you like. But I want you to, I want to focus your attention here at the bottom where it says levels. Now, this is really what makes this particular website so much better than many others. This is a graded system. As you can see, A1, A2, B1, B1 plus, B2, B2 plus, C1 and C2. It has a short explanation of what it means. Yeah, so A1 is starter level, A2 is elementary level, etc., etc. So books on this website are graded. You can find reading materials to suit these levels. Now, to explain these levels a little bit, these are not the levels that are invented by this website. These are CEFR levels, C-E-F-R, which stands for the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. This is a measuring system developed in Europe and is actually used all over the world and is applied to any language. So this is a recognized grading system. So if you're talking about A2 on the CEFR level scale, people in the education business especially will understand what that means. And you can apply that to English, but you could apply that to German or Italian or any other language as well. So this is a very common standard and it's reliable. And so that is one advantage that this website has that not many others do. It also connects neatly in course material when you're talking about English courses and other language courses. So in the education world, if you mention I'm a B2 level student, that makes sense. Yeah, people will understand. So here you can select reading materials that fit your level, which is very important part of choosing reading materials, because that is part of what keeps many people, many students from reading, because they don't know where to start. They figure it's all difficult because perhaps they have experience with materials that are at a level beyond their own ability. So this website takes that away. So this is a very good resource. Now, obviously, we're not going to open books and read them. That would take too much time, but I would recommend everyone to have a look at this English e-reader website. The next skill that we're talking about is writing. Now, here the technology becomes a tad more complicated, but we're talking about writing and in the end speaking. So here we have something that is ambitious and interesting in the first website that we have. We have Write and Improve by Cambridge University, which makes sense because Cambridge University does a lot of work when it comes to education and especially English language education across the world. They provide a lot of materials. They publish a lot of textbooks and other materials. So here they have I could say this is somewhat experimental, but here is a method or a website here that lets you practice your writing. Yeah? As you can see here, it's quite easy to follow what's on the website. You can practice writing your English, and you can get your grade in seconds. You can get some feedback and keep improving. Now, it takes a little getting used to this website. I will say that. It's not immediately very clear, but we shall have a quick look just to... okay. Here you can see, again, that it is in levels, which is always a good thing. Just for fun, let's do a beginner one. We're not going to do the entire task because that would take too much time. But here you have activities or writing tasks to choose from. Let's just pick one. Here you go. So as you can see, you get the task in the beginning, write sentences to answer the questions. What is your favorite indoor activity? why do you like this activity, and tell us about the last time you did this activity. So here the idea is that you have to write something, and there is a requirement. This task should enter between 50 and 100 words. So that is what you do over here. We're not going to do that right now. It's too much of a walkthrough. But what I can tell you is when you've written something, you can check it, and an AI, an artificial intelligence system, a robot basically, will give you a grade. It will tell you how well you did and make some suggestions. Now, I have played around with this particular website a little bit, and it is definitely interesting. If you find that you need a lot of practice with writing, I would recommend this website. But because it is an experimental or robotic AI system, it is not perfect. Yeah. You can tell that it's kind of trying something, but it does work. You can play around with it and you can get some results. The second one here is a different application, and it is more of an application than the other one. It's called Grammarly. It is different from the other one as well, that it is very much tried and tested. This is something that works. I recommend this to all my students. You have many versions of this. There's apps, they integrate into your phone or your tablet or on your computer, and they will help you with recommendations. You are perhaps familiar with word processors. I'm sure you are. If you're dealing with Microsoft Office, you are familiar with Word, and you are familiar with the fact that Word will correct or suggest some stuff. Yeah, if you misspell something, it will give you a red line. If the grammar is incorrect, it will give you a blue line. But that's about it. Grammarly works like that, but much more comprehensively. It will give you suggestions on style and suggestions on vocabulary. Are you sure you don't want to use this word? Perhaps you should restructure your sentence, and here is a suggestion. So it's a very practical tool that I would recommend to anyone. Even if your writing is already quite good, it could probably be better still. Yeah? Most people have room for improvement. So I would recommend Grammarly to anyone. So there is another example, and I think a more perfected example of technology when it comes to writing. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the last skill here, which is speaking. Yeah. This is an interesting website as well. It's really just one. We have two pictures here, but it's one website. You have probably already used similar systems on your mobile device. It is a speech-to-text application. So you speak, and it turns into text. We have this already on our phones. Some people use it a lot for text messaging or chat applications where you can just talk and it will type out what you said. This website does exactly that. So you can play around with it, and yeah, you can type and you can talk, and then the text will appear. In that sense, it's nothing new, but this is just a web version. And here is another suggestion. If you have a text next to it, which is in the example here, we have a random text here on the right. If you read that out, you read it out loud, as you do a speech-to-text situation, you open that application and you read a text. You can compare the results of your dictation to the text that you have and see how much it is the same. If it is very different, then your pronunciation is probably missing a few steps. Yeah? If your pronunciation is really good, then the text should match the text that you're actually reading out. So it's a good test of your pronunciation. Perhaps there's some room for improvement there as well. There are other applications that you can use in connection with this. in Google, I don't know if you are aware, but you can type something, a word, and you can type the word pronunciation, and you will get an icon of a speaker, which if you click it, will give you a native pronunciation of the word. So if you find that there are problems in this situation, you can find an example just by Googling it, and it will tell you how it's supposed to sound. So this can give you a tool to improve pronunciation if you use it a lot. Yeah. So yeah, it's a useful tool, and again, if you turn it into a game a little bit, it can be quite fun. Now, those are just examples of some technologies that are available. If you look around, you can probably find lots more, but this is about the level that we are at, and as we said in the beginning, there's a good probability that these technologies will expand and that there will be more of them, and there already are many more. We do, however, have some issues to consider. Possible problems with this. Let's look at some of those, because we cannot ignore that. A learning path is something that is quite important when you are studying something. A language is not something that you can learn quickly, however much we want that. It's one of the questions that I get more often than any other is, how do I learn English quickly? How can I become good at speaking quickly? And I always have to disappoint them by saying, no, I'm afraid there is no quickly. It takes time to do things properly, and language is something that does take time. So this is sadly just a fact. We cannot cheat that reality, which also means that we need to have a clear learning path. Yeah, we need to know what next step to take. Yeah? We need to have clear levels, what is low, what is high, and things like the Zephyr scale that I talked to you about before can help with that. Experts can help with that quite a bit as well. Yeah. So this is something that we need to consider when we choose the technology that we want to use. Quality is another issue. The examples that I showed you of modern technology to deal with English are all chosen. I chose them with a team and from experience to present them to you, just as examples once again. But there is a lot of stuff out there, and it is not all equally good. So it is important that you choose tools and materials that fit you, but also that have a good level of quality to it. Yeah. You can imagine if you use a poorly written textbook for a course or anything that you want to learn, the results are not going to be great. So you're going to need quality, and the same is true of technologies that you might use. Yeah. It's not good to randomly choose something. Then we have the issue of certification. Many of these, most in fact, are for your personal use. Great tools to use, but they do not offer you much in the way of a certificate. Yeah? Something that tells you, that proves to others perhaps, that you have reached a certain level in your studies. Yeah? So that is something to consider. It's not important to everyone, but it is important to many. And if you feel that it is important to you, don't forget about it. Yeah? It is something that you should keep your mind on. If you feel, hey, it's important for me to have a certificate, perhaps in your job capacity, you need a certificate. It's not enough to practice the skills, but you actually need proof, then okay. That is something to think about. If you're thinking about these technologies and how you could personally use them, keep in mind that a website like that, even if it's a Cambridge website, it will not give you a certificate. Yeah? So that is something that might be a problem for you. So do we have solutions for these issues, these potential problems? Luckily we do. We have something called a learning management system, which can sound complicated, but what it really means is ways to deal with these problems, to keep our eyes on the ball, so to speak. One thing that is considered in a learning management system is access. So the system will provide you with materials, access to materials and technologies that do not run out, to make sure that you have enough of everything, so that you don't run out of things to do before you are ready to move on. Another thing is content, which of course is related to that. We have all these interesting technologies. A system will guarantee that the technologies are properly chosen and that they will fit the participant, that they will fit the student. Not every student is the same. You probably know this. In a large group such as we have here, I am quite sure that your levels of English are different. You probably do not have all have the same abilities when it comes to the English language. This is normal. This is very common. So of course we need some tailored materials and speeds, tempos, and error correction. Yeah, so not every student makes the same mistakes. You need to be helped with the mistakes that you make, not the mistakes that someone else makes. Yeah, that wouldn't help you very much. So the system would watch over this, yeah, and make sure that the students get what they need. Yeah. This relates to a personal approach. So much as the mistakes and the shortcomings of a student need to be addressed, the progress is part of that. Yeah? So when it's time for a student to move on, it needs to be recognized, and there needs to be a provision by a system or a coach, trainer, teacher, if you like, to help the student move along and appreciate the progress that a student has made. Yeah? Oh, let me get back there. Trying to move this. Okay, and of course, then we have extras. A system should be prepared, and usually is, if it's a proper system, it is prepared with extra materials, extra practices, and extra advice and guidance, which is of course very important to make sure that the student can be helped with all the extra needs that one may have compared to another student. So these kind of factors, they kind of outline what the advantages are of having a learning management system as opposed to just playing around with technologies on your own. Which leads us to blended learning. Now, this really is what we're looking for, the ideal combination. So we're not doing away with traditional learning and with the student-teacher relationships. We still have that, and we need that, as we just saw. We want to mix that ideally, so that way we can get the best of both worlds. Okay, let's see if we can get to the first category here. Virtual classroom is something that is a great progress that we have made with technology and also with qualified professionals. So you can take part in an online language course with these experienced trainers, with professionals, but still be flexible and learn according to your own needs. Yeah? Virtual classrooms, such as the situation we are in now, of course, very convenient, much more convenient than gathering, in this case, you had 200 people in the same place. That would be much harder to do. So a virtual classroom has a lot of benefits, and it will still give you professional and some experience from a language trainer. So I think it's quite clear to see that that has a lot of advantages. Number two, we have online materials. Well, mentioned those a little bit before. Yeah, we have interactive exercises. They can be dynamic, they can be fun, they can be something that this student enjoys and is useful for this student. And another student might have slightly different needs and interests. So we can choose materials accordingly. In the third part, we have ebooks. Now, ebooks, we saw those a little bit in the reading technologies slide. Yeah, I showed you a bit about the website and the graded thing. That's great. But those are published books. Those are legitimate literature. Ebooks also exist for course books. There's a lot of benefits to those as well, because obviously you're just dealing with a computer file, which is a lot easier to carry than an actual book. Yeah? It doesn't weigh as much, and the access is very comfortable and easy with our devices. And so tablets, smartphones, laptops are all equipped to handle ebooks these days. So ebooks are also a very useful tool. In the fourth place, we have conversation. And this really is one of those particular skills, yeah, we talked about speaking. Related to listening, when you're dealing with conversation, it's not just listening or just speaking, it's both at the same time. What we need for this really is interaction. So even though we've seen some technologies that can help us with that, it's clear that it will not be enough. We need to practice our conversation by actually having a conversation. And we can do that virtually, as we are doing now, yeah, so we can have video conversations. We can do it face-to-face, but we need other people for this. Yeah. As it is right now, and maybe that will change in the future, but that's hard to say. The robots and artificial intelligence are not yet good enough. Yeah, you cannot have a realistic conversation with a robot just yet. So for this, we need other people. You can connect with other people from across the world, which is a very good and realistic way to practice your English, because most English conversation actually happens between people who do not speak it as a native language, but communicate in English as a tool because they have to. So someone as you people are from Indonesia, for example, if you want to communicate with someone from somewhere in Europe, let's say Spain, you will probably be speaking English, not Spanish, not Indonesian, but English. So this is the most realistic situation that English is used. Yeah. So to achieve this, it is also very good to have some guidance and to have someone to help you set that up to make sure that you're speaking to the people internationally that would be most realistic. Yeah. Levels might play into this as well. Yeah? So to speak to someone who is around your own proficiency level is probably a good idea. Okay, so what is next? This is where we kind of get to the end of the talk a little bit. It is important to be critical, as I said in the beginning, yeah, to be critical and to evaluate, to explore your options. So it is important to find the right system to improve your English. Look at what you need and choose wisely. In the end, as I mentioned before, we are people, so we have a lot of differences. We have not just in level, but also in personality, and we need to interact with other people. So having the correct balance of availability of technologies and a trained professional to help us guide our progress is probably the best combination. You need to decide for yourselves and choose wisely. Yeah? Okay, I hope that is helpful to you all. I hope you enjoyed the chat and that you could follow it a little bit. There will be some question and answer after this. At the moment, I am finished with my remarks. I would like to hand the microphone back, or
Okay, Abel. So thank you very much for your explanations.
Thank you.
Baik, Bapak dan Ibu. Berikut adalah penjelasan dari Abel tentang bagaimana menggunakan teknologi untuk mempelajari 4 skills dalam bahasa Inggris. Oke, Bapak Ibu boleh di-open kameranya. Sambil saya ingatkan kembali bahwa Bapak dan Ibu bisa memberikan pertanyaan melalui chat room di Zoom maupun chat room di WA kepada narasumber kita. Tapi sebelum kita memulai pada question and answer session, saya akan merangkum apa yang telah disampaikan oleh Abel Wansing dalam presentasi sebelumnya. Ada 2 hal value yang Abel sampaikan yang dapat kita tangkap. Yang pertama ialah nggak ada belajar bahasa Inggris yang bisa digunakan dalam waktu singkat. We cannot learn everything in a short time. Is it right, Abel? Is it what you said
I would say
earlier?
so.
Iya. Jadi memang kita butuh waktu dan butuh kesabaran untuk dalam belajar bahasa Inggris. Dan yang kedua adalah, walaupun teknologi sekarang dapat membantu kita dalam belajar bahasa Inggris, satu yang sangat penting adalah kehadiran guru. So teachers still have to be access, right, Abel?
I would say so. Yes, we are not at the point that robots can take over yet. So.
Ya, so kehadiran seorang mentor atau teacher tidak bisa digantikan dengan adanya artificial intelligence. Baik Bapak dan Ibu, sebelum masuk ke sesi question and answer, saya akan merangkum apa yang telah disampaikan oleh Abel. Saat ini pembelajaran menggunakan teknologi adalah suatu hal yang sangat populer dan hal tersebut dapat dilakukan karena adanya AI atau artificial intelligence. Terlebih lagi, sekarang kita sudah menggunakan learning management system di mana pembelajaran bahasa Inggris online dapat dengan mudah diakses dan dipelajari oleh berbagai peserta dari belahan dunia. Dalam mempelajari skill bahasa Inggris dengan teknologi, ada beberapa hal yang perlu dicatat. Abel telah menyampaikan bahwa ada 4 skills dalam bahasa Inggris yang bisa kita pelajari menggunakan teknologi. Rekomendasi dari Abel yang pertama adalah ketika kita mempelajari listening atau kemampuan mendengar, latihan yang baik dan direkomendasikan adalah mempelajari kata per kata dengan memperbanyak latihan pada fill in the blank. Sebelumnya, Abel telah menunjukkan beberapa aplikasi yang bisa digunakan untuk latihan fill in the blank atau mengisi titik-titik pada saat kita mendengarkan. Baik, yang kedua adalah reading skill. Bagaimana sih cara kita meningkatkan kemampuan membaca kita? Oke, melalui penjelasan Abel, beliau menyampaikan bahwa latihan membaca harus dimulai sesuai dengan kemampuan kita. Contohnya, oh saya ada di kemampuan beginner. Berarti buku-buku yang saya baca harus sesuai dengan kemampuan saya, yaitu novel-novel ringan atau teks-teks sederhana. Karena dengan membaca buku atau membaca teks yang sesuai dengan kemampuan kita akan meningkatkan kosakata yang kita miliki. Terlebih juga ini juga memacu kita untuk mendapatkan kosakata baru jika kita mempelajari atau mendapatkan teks yang lebih sulit. Baik Bapak dan Ibu, untuk skill yang ketiga yaitu writing atau kemampuan menulis. Biasanya halangan terbesar kita adalah bagaimana sih membuat email dalam bahasa Inggris? Bagaimana sih membuat proposal dalam bahasa Inggris? Nah, ada beberapa aplikasi yang telah Abel sampaikan seperti Grammarly dan selainnya. Tapi yang paling penting dalam menulis dalam berbahasa Inggris yaitu adalah kita dapat mendapatkan feedback. Yes, Abel, so we have to get a feedback from the mentor or from the trainers. So when we are doing the writing, we know our mistakes and we can improve it. Is it true?
Yeah, I would say so. Yes, we've seen what an application, well, we haven't really tested it out due to time constraints, but I've tested that website myself and it's okay. It's nice as a way of practicing, but it is not perfect and it is definitely not the level and the amount of feedback that a trainer can give you. A teacher can go much deeper into your personal writing, not just mistakes, but writing style as well.
Okay.
So it's much more useful at various levels to have an actual person read it as well. Even though, again, AI has come a long way and it can do something for us, that is one of the areas that it is most limited when we're talking about writing and speaking or conversation. And that's where the technology is great and it's useful, but not all that we need.
Oke, thank you Abel. Dan yang terakhir adalah skill speaking. Biasanya kita kan malu-malu ya, atau aduh mau ngomong bahasa Inggris tapi kayak takut salah dan sebagainya. Nah, Abel merekomendasikan it's okay if you have a mistake or misspelling or mispronunciation at the first. Tapi yang baiknya kita lakukan adalah coba lakukan speech recognition atau mengucapkan kosakata dalam bahasa Inggris sesering mungkin. Mungkin Bapak dan Ibu di sini mengenal tentang Siri di iPhone atau di Android ada beberapa aplikasi yang bisa digunakan untuk speech recognition. Jadi Bapak dan Ibu bisa mempraktekkan berbicara dengan Siri misalnya open the phone. And then if the pronunciation is correct, jika pengucapannya benar, maka handphonenya akan terbuka. Latihan-latihan seperti ini sangat baik dilakukan untuk melatih our speaking skill, untuk melatih kemampuan berbahasa Inggris kita. Baik Bapak dan Ibu, begitu adalah rangkuman yang telah saya sampaikan untuk apa yang telah Abel sampaikan. Acara selanjutnya ialah kita akan menuju kepada question and answer session. Di sini saya telah mendapatkan beberapa pertanyaan dari teman-teman Kemendagri. Tapi di sini untuk pertanyaan pertama kita akan buka 3 sesi pertanyaan dulu ya Bapak dan Ibu. Pertanyaan pertama ini datang dari Ibu Asmita Nafiati. Hello Ibu Asmita, how are you there?
I am fine.
Okay, Abel, there is a question from Ibu Asmita.
Yep, I see.
So she is asking about how accurate the grammar check application. So yeah, like Grammarly, when they are checking the quality of our writing, how accurate is that? Okay, please Abel answer the question.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. Yeah, we're talking about the accuracy of the Grammarly application. I am myself surprised at how good it is. As I mentioned before, it takes it a step further than your normal grammar checks that you have in perhaps the Word, Microsoft Word, or that spell check and grammar check do on your phone apps. I would say Grammarly is definitely a few steps above that in quality. Yes, that's why I recommend Grammarly to basically everyone who needs something like this. So I would say it is quite accurate. Yep. Does that answer your question?
Grammarly.
Okay, thank you. But I think if we want to improve the quality, we should upgrade it into pro model.
Well, you get a good point there. There are 2 versions of the application, which is quite common. Yeah, if you use the free version, there are limits to it. That's true. You have more options with the pro version. But I found that even the free version does a really quite a good job. Yeah, it does quite a good job. And if you want to outsmart Grammarly, you have to start writing quite complicated stuff. So it will definitely help for most writing. So unless you're really writing a book and you are trying to use very complicated language on purpose, I mean, if that's the situation, then perhaps Grammarly will not be good enough for you. But in most cases, writing things like letters and emails, reports, memos, and all those kinds of things, I think Grammarly does a really good job.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, another question? Okay, I think I can see it here.
Miss Husnul, your microphone is unmute.
Let's see. Yeah, where?
Oke, thank you very much. So
Okay,
Ibu
right.
Asmita, bagaimana sudah menjawab pertanyaan Ibu? Okay, so now we go to the second questions, yeah. So for the second question, it is coming from Dinda Kementan. Hi, Bapak or Ibu Binda? Hello there.
Hello.
Oh, okay. So Ibu Binda, right?
Yes.
Okay, Abel, there is a question from Ibu Binda. So she is asking about what's the most effective skill or method to learn English? Is it listening, reading, writing, or speaking? Please, Abel.
Okay, yeah, I'm afraid that that is a bit of a incorrect approach. It's not that you learn English by listening. It's not like, okay, I'm doing listening and now I learn English. Or I'm reading and now I'm learning English. Or I'm writing and that's how I learn English. These are skills that are aspects of English. They're parts of English. Okay? So all of these things together are necessary for English. Now, of course, it is true that for individual needs, it might be different. Yeah? If you have to do a lot of reading in English, then perhaps for you, reading is more important. If you have to do a lot of writing, maybe you want to focus on writing. But the truth is, if you're dealing with English as a language, then all four of these skills are a part of the package. You know, it's all part of English. Just as vocabulary is, and just as grammar is, just as pronunciation and spelling, these are all smaller parts of the bigger picture of the English language. So if you want to learn English properly, you cannot really skip any of these skills. That said, I do think that reading is by far, well, by far, I don't know, my favorite for sure. But I do think there's a lot to learn from reading. Reading books, that is. Yeah, so newspapers, magazines, and blogs, they don't really count, I would say. But if you do read novels, like real books, you get a lot more language. Because I think I briefly mentioned this when I talked about the reading. You get language in books that you do not get anywhere else. Conversations tend to use quite simple English. When you watch movies or television shows, you are also dealing with conversations. The only language that is in a movie is conversation between characters. There's no description because that's all in the picture. Yeah. But when you read a book, the whole situation, the scene, all the actions and all the aspects of whatever is happening or just is present in the scene is described in language. So there's a lot of descriptive language, things like adjectives and adverbs and all kinds of actions and sceneries are described in language. This, of course, requires words. So there's a lot of vocabulary there. It requires sentences. So there's a lot of sentence structure and grammar there as well. So you get a lot of language when you read a story. So in that sense, I would say, if I have to choose, I would choose reading. But at the same moment, you cannot skip the other ones. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah, very welcome. Next.
Yeah, okay. So for the third question, this is coming from Andriani. Hi, Ibu Andriani.
Hello.
Okay, so yeah, Ibu Andriani asking you about how do we compose a good writing, especially when we take an English test.
Wow, okay. Well, I'm afraid there's no short answer to this. There's no kind of simple trick that I can give you. This is kind of the point that I made earlier, that learning the language. And in fact, learning each of these skills does take quite a bit of work. It is impossible to give you one or two tips to say, okay, and now you can write well. A lot of this stuff, as I mentioned before, is also dependent on your ability at this moment. Yeah? So if I know how well you write, I could perhaps help you improve your writing. If I've never seen any of your writing, I don't know where to start. So this is why it's important to have communication between a student and a teacher. Yeah? And also to have an approach so that we have ways to practice, we have tests or tasks that prepare us for tests, and some exercises to do. Exercises and practice are extremely important when we are learning a language. So I'm afraid there is no quick answer for for this. Yeah, as I mentioned before, many people ask me that questions like that. How do I quickly learn English? I'm afraid there is no shortcut.
Oke, Ibu bagaimana? Apakah jawaban Abel sudah menjawab pertanyaan Ibu? Okay, Ibu Andriani. Okay, so we go to the last questions, and this is come from Ibu Itsni. Okay, and then the question is, Abel, they have having trouble in like writing the emails and writing the proposal because of the vocabularies. And then the question is there any applications or sites that provide complete vocabulary so they can learn from that applications? Thank you.
Okay, so improving vocabulary, basically, yeah? Yeah, well, as I mentioned before, reading really is a very, very good source of vocabulary. And with that, I also mean active reading. Yeah? So if you read for fun, great. It's always good to read for fun, but also be slightly active. So when you find a word in a text that you do not know, don't leave it. Yeah, don't skip it and forget about it, but actually grab a dictionary, whether it's an application, which there are quite a few of, you know, there are free dictionaries that you can install or access through a web browser, or a physical dictionary, you know, a book, that's fine too, those work pretty well, but look up the words. Yeah? If you want to get a bigger vocabulary, you have to add to it. And that's one of those things where reading at your own level is a good idea. You need to read something that is not too difficult and not too easy. If it's too easy, you won't learn anything. And if it's too difficult, you'll give up because you can't get through a page. So you need to be really in that sweet spot in the middle where you can understand most of it, but sometimes you have to look up a word. That's a great way to get some new words. And learning words in context, yeah, for instance, in a story, in a sentence, is a very good way to remember it properly. If you learn vocabulary by what's called rote learning, so there's lists of words. You've probably seen that at the very least in school, yeah? So you have a list of English words and then the meanings in your own language, and you just have to memorize all of those for the test that's coming next Monday. That does not tend to work very well. You will remember those for a little while, hopefully long enough to take the test, but a week after that, you forget about them. Why is that? Well, it is because they are taken out of context and you don't have a use for those words. Okay? And if you don't use them, you lose them. It's really that simple. So having words in context, for instance, in a story, makes it much easier to remember them. So I would definitely recommend reading for that. If you do, I mean, it does depend a little bit on how your own mind works. For some people, it does work very well to memorize words, and you can always give that a try. But in my experience, it's not the best way. Yeah? The best way is definitely finding words in the real world and then just looking them up, and that's a better way to remember them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so thank you Abel for the explanation. Jadi kembali lagi ya Bapak dan Ibu, memang semuanya itu perlu waktu. Jadi ketika kita mau memperkaya kosakata kita mau bisa nih untuk listening, reading, dan speaking, also writing, kita memang perlu membiasakan diri untuk membaca bacaan bahasa Inggris. It could be from newspaper, it could be magazine, and other things. Oke, baik Bapak dan Ibu. Di sini ada banyak pertanyaan yang menanyakan kepada Inlingua, juga Abel, aplikasi apa sih atau program apa yang sangat cocok untuk membantu kita untuk mempelajari bahasa Inggris? Well, di sini saya akan memperkenalkan tentang Inlingua Plus. Jadi Inlingua Plus merupakan platform pembelajaran online yang telah memiliki learning system management yang sangat baik karena telah memiliki beberapa konsiderasi dalam clear path, quality, dan terakhir adalah certification. Kemudian dari Inlingua Plus ini kita bisa menggunakan blended learning di mana pembelajaran tidak hanya virtual dengan trainernya atau mentornya, tetapi bisa menggunakan independent learning, e-book yang seperti Abel jelaskan sebelumnya. Baik Bapak dan Ibu, di sini saya akan share screen untuk Inlingua Plus. Sedikit video perkenalan tentang Inlingua Plus. Oke. Apakah sudah muncul di screen Bapak dan Ibu untuk presentasinya?
Sudah.
Sudah. Oke, baik.
Ya, sudah.
Oke, saya akan mulai.
And I would ask you to have a very quick read and tell me if you agree or not with the points made. Now, I'll give you some minutes to read it and to try and find synonyms or another way to explain what astute judge of character means and what skills and qualities are. So you're going to note down which qualities have been discussed. And select one of the words you've seen as the options. Ideal.
Okay, so similar words.
Exactly.
Ideal could be perfect.
Very good. Perfect. Excellent. Could be acceptable or a direct opposite of strength.
Weakness.
Very good, Sandra. Excellent. A weakness. Very good. Do you think that commitment is perfect in this case? But do you think there is another quality that relates to it? Exactly, which is a great way. You know, you just sort of found a way to express it anyway, even without using the adjective, which is perfect.
I would say that skills is something that you can acquire through education, through various specific courses, and qualities is something more inheritant. Can you say that?
Very good. Yes, yes, absolutely.
In someone's personal characters, a personal strength that is more individual, I would say, in comparison to skills.
Absolutely. Very good. So do you all agree with this explanation as well? So do you find it interesting?
Very interesting, yes.
Yeah. Good, good. So, for example, Willem, do you agree with the points made in this paragraph? I want to try and use another adjective.
Optional.
Optional, very good, yes. Or just concentrating on the concept of hypothesis.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one way to describe it. Absolutely, yes. I know it's a bit tricky.
I would say that one synonym could be knowledge.
It would be very interesting for me to see if you could find a lot of investors that are investing into products for people.
I guess it's when you can see through a person and understand their personality and who they are.
It can be both because you can acquire decision-making skills, but at the same time, you can have a personal trait that hinders you in making proper or fast decisions.
I think it would be more positive, but it would be generally more positive, definitely, yeah.
I also think that it's quite relevant to be able to still assure this human contact.
Young people are more able to adapt to new things, and that would be coachability.
Quality, I think, is quite generic, so I'm not 100% sure if quality is always something that has never been acquired or maybe conditioned over time.
Oke, baik dan Bapak dan Ibu, tadi merupakan contoh virtual classroom yang ada di Inlingua Plus. Jadi di virtual classroom nanti, program yang diberikan kepada Bapak Ibu dapat disesuaikan dengan kebutuhan Bapak dan Ibu. Contohnya seperti tadi ada 3 student dengan kebutuhan yang berbeda-beda. Yang pertama mereka menggunakan academic English, belajar academic English dengan mentornya, dan yang kedua menggunakan business English. Seperti yang Abel sampaikan, bahwa tailored program atau customized program memang sangat cocok digunakan untuk Bapak Ibu yang telah bekerja. Karena English for specific purpose, seperti untuk bisnis, untuk emailing, untuk correspondence, itu membutuhkan analisis terlebih dahulu, lalu kita akan memberikan durasi yang tepat untuk Bapak dan Ibu. Oke, selanjutnya saya akan menunjukkan satu video lagi sebelum kita beralih ke games, karena nanti di akhir acara akan ada games. Dan the good news is there will be a prize. Ada hadiahnya nih Bapak dan Ibu. Jadi untuk Bapak dan Ibu yang telah mengikuti pembelajaran dari awal sampai akhir, nanti kita akan ada quiz, akan ada 5 pertanyaan. Dan untuk Bapak dan Ibu yang ada di top rank atau menjadi pemenangnya akan ada hadiah. Dan hadiahnya adalah you have a privilege to join our online class with a good quality. Jadi ini free untuk pemenangnya pada quiz hari ini. Sebelumnya saya akan tunjukkan dulu bagaimana Inlingua Plus ini berjalan dan apa aja sih yang ada di dalam Inlingua Plus. Oke, sebentar. Oh, no. Let me try this first. Okay.
Would you like to improve your language skills in a motivating and efficient way? That's easy with Inlingua Plus. Inlingua Plus combines lively classroom training with modern e-learning. Our unique method, exclusive material, and tailor-made modules will help improve your language skills exponentially. We offer you the best of 3 worlds: face-to-face classroom training, our online learning platform, My Lab, and virtual live conversation sessions. The online training material on My Lab can be customized and adapted to your individual skills and interests. With My Lab, you work on your level, at your pace. Individual learning paths offer interactive multimedia activities such as audios, a speaking lab, and videos. Complete them whenever it's convenient for you, on your PC, smartphone, or tablet. You'll just love Inlingua Plus. It allows you to join many different conversation sessions per week. Come and practice the language in groups with other learners from all over the world. Join our global network and benefit from our popular Inlingua Plus package, the modern way of learning languages. Contact your local Inlingua Center and book Inlingua Plus today.
Oke, jadi itu tentang Inlingua Plus. And Abel, I want to ask you about this platform. Abel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so in Inlingua Plus, have you seen that there is a blended learning? So we blend about the virtual classroom, online materials, ebook, and conversation. What do you think? So it is the recommended platform for the people, do you think?
Yeah, it looks really good. I think it has all the aspects that, that I talked about. You know, we need the modern technology and we need to make it work for us. At the same time, we need to have some guidance and some personal approach as well. We need that contact between the student and the teacher. And yeah, as I said before, we're not quite ready to have everything done by robots. So to have qualified professionals work with us is, I think, a very, very important part of it. And also to be modern, you know, to be into new technology and to always try to innovate and use what we can use, not just stick with the same old thing. So yeah, from what I've seen, that looks really appropriate.
Oke, Abel, so thank you so much. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu, jika ingin mengetahui program kami lebih lanjut, Bapak dan Ibu dapat mengikuti sesi program consultation setelah seminar ini berakhir pada pukul 1 siang. Untuk alamatnya akan kami share di grup WhatsApp. Oke, so this is the time for the games. Saya akan mengajak satu colleague saya di sini, Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
Okay, are you ready, Mike, for playing the game with
I'm
us?
so excited to actually start that.
Okay. So Bapak dan Ibu, kita akan bermain games. Nanti mohon ikuti langkah-langkah yang saya tampilkan di screen Bapak dan Ibu ya. Oke, yang pertama saya minta Bapak dan Ibu untuk membuka new tab. Jadi zoom-nya bisa di-minimize. Oke. Dan Bapak dan Ibu saya minta untuk buka new tab. Oke, dan mohon mengetik kahoot, .it.
How do you spell that, maybe, Miss?
Kahoot, KAHOOT.IT. Oke.
Alright.
Oke, bagaimana Bapak dan Ibu sudah? Mohon berikan reaction kepada saya jika sudah. Boleh dijawab sudah atau reaction? Could be thumbs, could be claps.
Belum.
Yes. Oke, thank you.
Kahoot.com.
Kahoot.it. Jangan yang .com, yang IT ya. Kahoot.it nanti akan tertampil seperti ini di desktop atau di handphone Bapak dan Ibu. Jadi ini bisa menggunakan handphone juga ya, tidak hanya di desktop saja. Oke. So akan muncul seperti ini. Nanti ada game pin and I will show you the pin. Okay, so I would like to show the pin. Okay, wait a moment.
You can watch.
Sudah tertampil seperti ini ya di desktop atau di handphone Bapak dan Ibu. Kahoot, ya, game pin and enter. Wait a moment, I am opening the website first.
Yep. Mungkin sebagai informasi bahwa untuk gamenya sendiri memang harus mendadak ya, karena dia pinnya secara spontan. Ya.
Oke, untuk pinnya Bapak dan Ibu bisa dilihat di layar Bapak dan Ibu di Zoom yang saya share screen. Oke. Untuk pinnya ini bisa dilihat sebentar, sedang loading. How about you, Mike? Have you tried to enter Kahoot also? Kahoot.it?
Yep, I'm looking at your screen actually right now at the moment, so we're opening only one.
Okay.
Limited access.
Okay. Okay, it's still loading.
Pinnya apa tadi?
Ya,
sebentar ya Ibu, ini sedang loading. Oke, pinnya ini ya Bapak dan Ibu. 132 223.
223.
13 triple 23. Oke, di sini sudah masuk Ibu Septiani, Maria, Bi, Sylvia. Oke. Ada ya? Yes, Bu.
Udah masuk belum, Bu?
Oh ya, di sini banyak nama-namanya. Ada Pak Emel, Handra, Yani, Wisnunia, Tipi, dan lain-lainnya. Oke.
Sudah
saya
33
kasih waktu 10,
yang masuk.
10 detik lagi.
39, 40.
Udah masuk belum ya?
41 players.
41 sudah masuk 41.
Okay.
Come on guys, the time is limited. 43.
Okay,
47,
come on.
47.
So 10 seconds again.
10 more seconds.
50 players. 50 players.
Okay.
Nickname
Okay.
what's him?
51. Yep.
Okay, 53 now.
Bagi peserta yang di luar daerah, don't worry.
And let's see who is the
Nggak
winner,
dapat
right?
hadiahnya ya. Iya.
Okay, so let's start the game. Oke. Bapak dan Ibu, mohon perhatikan pertanyaannya.
Baik,
ini adalah pertanyaannya.
What kind of practice to make your listening skill improve. 15 detik, 12. Silakan diklik jawaban yang betulnya. Ya, 6, 5, 2, 1. Ya.
Oke, waktunya habis.
Ada 30 jawaban.
Kita lihat ada beberapa peserta. Wah.
Ya.
Oke.
Pertanyaannya nggak kelihatan.
Mbak Arimbi nih. Mbak Arimbi, Mbak
Ya,
Mirna,
nomor
dan
1
Mbak Yuli.
Mbak Arimbi.
Oh my God.
Dan skor 800.
We have to go. Kita bisa mengalahkan mereka bertiga ya. Masih semangat ya semuanya ya.
Alright, go.
Masih ada 4 pertanyaan lagi.
Oke, we go. Next question.
Kita lanjut. What tips make your reading skill improve? Ya.
Ya nggak kelihatan lah. Nggak kebaca.
What tips make your reading skill improve?
Okay, let's see the result. Okay.
dari
good. The first position is Mbak Izzy, second is Mbak Yuli, and third is Dita. Come on, we still have like 3 questions.
Enggak,
everyone.
Mas Indahnya udah bilang siap sejam lalu.
Bilang aja, Mas Indra. Okay, so can we start?
Nih.
Okay.
Ya.
Hi Mike, can we start again the games?
Sebagai yang pertama sekarang ya, skor di scoreboard.
Dari jam 10.
Oke, next.
Skornya 154. Oke, next question Bu.
Belum ya Mas, itu Bu Bui, aku bilang gitu.
Pertanyaan ketiga.
Saya udah cek nggak ada. Iya, aku tadi ngecek di sini juga belum, terus aku bilang belum ya Mas. Kalau aku bilang gitu.
Apalah ini nggak ngerti. Kahut.
Masuk.
Ini di close.
Iya salah.
We have 40 answers. 36 is correct. Let's see. Okay.
Ini yang suratnya Pak Karo Kemenpan.
So Ibu Itsni still become the top one, and then second is Bu Yuli, and third still Ibu Dita. Come on everyone, you can be winners. Semuanya bisa jadi pemenang ya. Kita lanjut ke pertanyaan selanjutnya. Gimana Mike? Lanjut?
Okay, sure. Yes, Bu Itsni is number 1 ya.
I couldn't find a question then.
What is the benefit of doing practice?
What is the benefit of doing speech recognition practice?
No question.
Questions-nya bisa dilihat di screen Zoom yang saya tampilkan.
Nggak ada.
Oke, you still have the time. Ada 53 yang sudah menjawab. Sekarang 55 yang telah menjawab.
46 jawaban, 51.
Oke, you still have the time.
57 jawaban.
57 orang yang telah menjawab. Saat ini 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, let's see who is the first rank in this question. Let's see. Okay, that's very good Pak Wisnu. You beat Ibu Dita and you are now in the third position. Okay.
Wah, Pak Wisnu ya masuk nih.
Pak Wisnu ya, keren banget ya Pak Wisnu ya. Oke, sekarang ini kita masuk ke pertanyaan terakhir.
Nomor 1 ya.
Oke, pertanyaan terakhir. Oke, siap-siap Bapak dan Ibu, karena pemenangnya, the top rank, akan mendapatkan free online class with Inlingua. Baiklah, kita lanjut ke pertanyaan selanjutnya ya.
Kamu cuma ada warna doang, nggak ada pertanyaan.
1, 2, 3, go.
The quality of an online learning needs to be considered.
The quality
of an online learning needs to be considered. Is that a yes or no? True or false? Yang biru itu true, yang false itu yang merah. Ya, 50 jawaban.
Okay, so that's all for the games. And then now we will
Nggak
know
ngeliat
who is going
pertanyaannya,
to
nggak
rank
buka
and who is
ini
the winner.
soalnya.
Let's see together. So this is the winner. The third one is Wisnu. Okay, Pak Wisnu, congratulations. Second one is
Your
Ibu
score for
Yuli.
easy.
And the top one is Mbak Itsni.
All right, congratulations, Wisnu.
Congratulations. Okay.
Selamat Pak Wisnu, selamat.
Okay. Okay, so everyone, we just finished the games, and then the winner for today's session is Mbak Itsni. Mbak Itsni, nanti akan kami kontak secara pribadi untuk klaim hadiahnya. Mbak Itsni, where are you? Can you show me your face? Can you open your camera?
I'm opening my camera.
Where is Mbak Itsni?
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
see me?
Congratulations, Mbak Itsni. So Mbak
Thank
Itsni
you.
coming from Jawa Barat, right?
Yes. Yep.
Oke, Mbak Itsni nanti akan kami kontak personal untuk klaim hadiahnya ya, Mbak ya. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody, I think that's all from Inlingua. I would like to say thank you very much to Abel as our speaker. Abel, thank you very much for joining us.
Had a great time. Thank you for listening to me.
Bye, Abel. Say goodbye to Abel, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Abel.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Bu Fani biasanya panggil Mas Abel.
Abel, terima kasih.
Thank you. Bukan Mr.
Mr.
Abel,
Abel.
tapi Mas Abel.
Thank you, Mr. Abel.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Also, I would like to say to BPS
Thank you.
dan Kemendagri.
Abel. Bu Fani,
Thank you, Bu Sarah. Ketemu lagi.
Bapak Ibu jangan meninggalkan chatnya dulu karena kita akan ada penutupan. Mohon Inlingua juga tetap standby.
Oke.
Baik, Bapak dan Ibu kita akan melakukan ada penutupan. Silakan MC.
Baik Kak. Mohon izin Bapak Ibu sebelum menutup acara webinar pada sudah siang hari ini. Jadi udah siang ini sebelum menutup ada sedikit 1-2 kata dari Bapak Kaban. Mohon izin Bapak.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang.
Waalaikumsalam.
Semuanya. Sungguh menarik apa yang dipresentasikan dalam seminar ini khususnya oleh tim Indungwa gitu ya. Dan seperti yang saya katakan tadi, mudah-mudahan seminar yang singkat ini tentang bagaimana menggunakan teknologi untuk perbaikan bahasa Inggris yang keempat tadi itu betul-betul bisa di follow up gitu. Saya minta Pak Ses, Pak Eko, Mbak Fani, coba terus jajaki berbagai kegiatan atau mungkin hal-hal yang bisa kita lakukan ke depan gitu. Sehingga tidak hanya berhenti pada seminar online kali ini. Gitu. Ini menarik gitu. Menarik. Kemudian juga kepada Bapak dan Ibu semuanya, kalau memang kita komit untuk terus belajar, pastinya juga mungkin ada semacam komunitas gitu. Bagaimana kita saling bisa bicara untuk latihan dan sebagainya. Silakan mungkin misalnya Mbak Fani ya koordinir dan atur. Pokoknya ada follow up-nya lah. Sehingga seminar bukan hanya seminar, apalagi terkait masalah penggunaan bahasa Inggris ini. Intinya saya hanya minta follow up. Dan intinya juga saya minta kepada pihak Inua, satu sisi saya terima kasih. Yang lain adalah berikan kemudahan-kemudahan kepada para peserta. Baik dalam hal pembelajaran secara free seperti ini, atau mungkin pembelajaran bahasa Inggris, kursus-kursus bahasa Inggris yang katakanlah mungkin berbayar misalnya, itu pun diberi keringanan gitu. Karena di masa pandemi COVID-19 ini sungguh kita mengalami berbagai kesulitan, hambatan dan sebagainya, sehingga pola-pola kerjasama yang saling menguntungkan, yang memberikan kemudahan kepada kami para ASN, para pegawai, itu sangat-sangat kita harapkan. Kalau kemudian nanti butuh semacam nota kerjasama atau PKS, silakan diatur lebih lanjut. tidak hanya dari sisi pribadi, dari sisi kedinasan juga tolong. Bagaimana dengan pimpinan di satkernya, OPD-nya, atau dengan daerah, ini sama-sama kita mengimprove bahasa Inggris kita. Baik secara online seperti ini, daring, IT, maupun nanti pada saatnya mungkin bisa juga tatap muka secara terbatas. Demikian mungkin, sekali lagi terima kasih kepada saudara, terima kasih kepada jajaran Inlingua. Mudah-mudahan ini bisa terus kita lanjutkan, bisa terus kita kembangkan, dan pastinya dua jempol kepada Bapak dan Ibu semuanya, para peserta seminar yang sampai dengan saat ini masih 140 orang yang tergabung di dalam seminar online ini. Sehat, semangat, sukses, dan terus berkarya untuk nusa dan bangsa kita. Demikian Bapak dan Ibu, lebih kurangnya mohon maaf, kekurangannya dimaafkan, dimaklumi, kelebihan catat di hati. Kami BPS Kemendagri akan terus berkarya, akan terus melaksanakan berbagai pengembangan kompetensi untuk kita semuanya, untuk Ibu Pertiwi tercinta. Akhirnya dengan sama-sama mengucapkan syukur, mari kita tutup seminar online ini dengan ucapan Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Demikian, terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saldi Om. Sehat, semangat.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Kaban atas sambutan penutupannya. Baiklah Bapak Ibu yang terhormat yang telah mengikuti acara ini, kami dari panitia dan penyelenggara mengucapkan terima kasih atas partisipasinya pada webinar kali ini. Kami mohon maaf apabila ada salah kata dan perbuatan. Saya selaku MC mohon undur diri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat siang. Terima kasih semuanya Bapak Ibu.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Iya, terima kasih Mbak Husnul.
Terima kasih untuk semuanya.
Salam dari Palu.
Izin live ya, mau melanjutkan rapat.
Salam dari Seruyan.
Mohon izin live dulu sebentar.
Saya belum absen, nggak ada absennya.
Bapak Ibu, halo.
Ya, halo.
Kami juga mau mengucapkan terima kasih banyak kembali sekali lagi kepada Inlingua dengan juga narasumber kita.
Terima kasih, mohon izin untuk live.
Kita
Karena akan
berikan
melanjutkan
penghargaan
tugas
juga
yang lain.
kepada Ibu Moderator Bu Husnul sebagai moderator untuk seminar
Terima
online
kasih.
ini.
Ya, thank you so much.
Dan
It's
juga
really
kepada
pleasure.
Abel sebagai narasumber kita, mohon izin kita titip pertanyaannya untuk beliau. Dan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, mohon izin kami mau informasikan bahwa setelah ini Inlingua masih tetap memberikan Zoom meeting secara tersendiri. Mohon izin Bapak, kami juga ucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada Bapak dan Ibu yang telah senantiasa mengikuti kegiatan webinar ini.
Pak Rukman.
Untuk informasi terkait dengan kegiatan-kegiatan kita mau dari presensi maupun evaluasi, serta ada beberapa materialnya nanti kita kirim via WA group. Kemudian nanti jangan lupa Bapak Ibu jam 1 dapat mengikuti konsultasi langsung kepada Inlingua. Linknya sudah kita share ke dalam WA group. Jadi Bapak dan Ibu yang mau langsung meningkatkan kapabilitas bahasa Inggrisnya secara pribadi maupun instansi, monggo silakan bisa menghubungi Ibu Ati. Beliau sudah ada di grup WA group, dan jam 1 siang bisa secara personal dapat bergabung melalui Zoom meeting yang sudah kita share di WA group. Sekali lagi kami ucapkan terima kasih dan mohon maaf sebesar-besarnya Bapak dan Ibu apabila memang terdapat beberapa kesalahan tadi pagi, baik dari link maupun kendala teknis lainnya. Kami terus akan memperbaiki koneksi maupun juga kendala-kendala lainnya. Dan kami sangat berterima kasih kembali kepada semuanya, termasuk Ibu Maureen. Kami ucapkan terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih banyak Bu Fani.
Ya, kepada Mbak Husnul, kepada Mbak Tinggi.
Ya, Kak.
Terima kasih. Baik, selanjutnya Bapak dan Ibu, kita nanti informasi dapat via WA Group. Segala pertanyaan lebih lanjut nanti bisa disampaikan di dalam WA Group. Mohon izin kami dari panitia undur diri sampai di sini. Sampai ketemu lagi di lain kesempatan. Terima kasih dan selamat siang.
Bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih.
Pak
untuk
Putra
semua.
silakan. Terima
Terima
kasih
kasih.
Pak Ses. Terima kasih.
Ya, terima kasih untuk semua.
Terima kasih Pak Ses.
Yuk, sama-sama.
Tumben Mbak Fani nggak
Pak
ngajak.
Ses, Pak Kaban, terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama Pak.
Izin pamit.
Pamit ya.
Live ya.
Edi, ayo, Edi.